Hi guys, how are you today? Welcome back to my channel Adventures in America. If you're new to my channel, my name is Jocelyn, and today we are going to talk about the reopening status in the Philippines, the latest Bureau of Immigration updates, the latest resolution from the Interagency Task Force, and also we will look at the vaccination rates, the current travel rules, and also there are questions about the entry exemption documents for foreign spouses and the entry ban if it's still being implemented. Let's get started. One of the criteria to reopen the Philippine tourism is the aggressive vaccination of its citizens. Now, we are going to look at the percentage of those who have received at least one dose of the vaccine. Currently, the Philippines is administering Sinovac to its citizens. Also, please take note that the local governments in the Philippines have the option of acquiring a different vaccine for its own constituents. So some constituents or citizens may get the Sinovac or some may get the AstraZeneca. Currently, the percentage is 3.6% as of May 30, and this regarding the first dose of the vaccination for its entire population. I think the 3.6% is really low at this time. In another development, the Sinovac vaccine from China has been approved for emergency use by the World Health Organization as of June 1st, 2021. The World Health Organization has approved China's Sinovac COVID vaccine for emergency use. The World Health Organization said it prevented symptomatic disease in 51% of those vaccinated and prevented severe symptoms and hospitalization in 100% of samples. The vaccine, which has already been used in several countries, has been recommended for over 18 years of age, with a second dose 2 to 4 weeks later. The emergency approval means the vaccine meets international standards for safety, efficacy, and manufacturing. One of Sinovac's main advantages is that it can be stored in a standard refrigerator at 2 to 8 degrees Celsius. This means Sinovac is a lot more useful to developing countries which might not be able to store large amounts of vaccine at low temperatures. I am just going to focus the important provisions under Resolution number 118A, and this is regarding the National Capital Region plus the other provinces such as Bulacan, Rizal, Cavite, and Laguna, which was placed under general community quarantine until June 15. There was an item under number 8 regarding non-essential travel, and those who are 18 to 65 years old may be allowed to go out. Item number 8, point-to-point travel from the National Capital Region plus the nearby provinces of Bulacan, Cavite, Rizal, and Laguna to areas under modified general community quarantine. So that means from Manila or Metro Manila and other areas, if they're going to places under the modified general community quarantine, they will be allowed without age restrictions, subject to a test before travel requirement for those below 18 and above 65 years old, and other protocols and restrictions as may be imposed by the Department of Tourism and the local government unit of destination. Who are below 18 and above 65, and if you're going to travel from, let's say, Metro Manila to other areas under the modified general community quarantine, then you are required to submit to a COVID test, and this is a requirement under the new rule, and it will be effective until June 15. There are actually 2 press releases from the Bureau of Immigration, and I'm going to read them with you today. And also, please take note that there is a little bit of good news, even though there's still a travel ban being imposed, or an entry ban being imposed against those 7 countries. Press release issued on June 1st, travel ban in 7 countries extended until June 7. These countries are India, Pakistan, Nepal, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Oman, and United Arab Emirates. So the passengers coming from these countries are still not allowed to enter until June 15. So in this press release, foreign tourists are not yet allowed to enter the Philippines, regardless of your vaccination status. So all of those who have fiancés coming from other countries and they wanted to visit their fiancés in the Philippines, and those who have no immediate family members, they cannot enter. This means only Filipinos, balikbayans, and foreign nationals with valid and existing visa, and they should not be coming from those countries stated under the travel ban. They are allowed to enter the Philippines. And also, if you are a 9A visa holder or SRRV visa holder, you need an entry exemption document plus the entry visa to enter the Philippines. However, for all those foreign spouses of Filipinos who are based in the Philippines, now there is actually a comment made by someone and he got denied boarding, but he has the entry exemption document and all the other requirements. I have a valid 9A visa exempt under FSC 36-2020 and was denied entry even with all the documents. Marriage certificate, wife's PSA birth certificate, quarantine hotel, etc., and was not allowed to fly on 5/27/21. Why? Actually don't know the reason why he was denied boarding in spite of having an entry visa and also the exemption document. However, if this happens to you, make sure that you ask the airline the reason why you got denied boarding, and if you could file a complaint, then file a complaint. Now let's go over the latest press release from the Bureau of Immigration regarding the proposed green lane and the opening up of the country for tourism purposes. According to the press release issued on June 2nd, the Bureau of Immigration backs proposed green lane for vaccinated foreign travelers to revive Philippine tourism. The Bureau of Immigration said it supports a proposal to allow fully vaccinated foreign nationals to enter the country as part of efforts to revive country's moribund tourism industry and reopen the country's borders. The question is, when is the best time to reopen the Philippines? Once these green lanes are set up, operations in our international airports and seaports hopefully will begin to return to normal. Earlier, Tourism Secretary Romulo Puyat asked the IATF to approve the setting of the green lanes to facilitate the re-employment of tourism workers and revive the tourism industry under safe conditions. Puyat said the scheme would allow vaccinated foreign travelers to visit the country for leisure as quarantine rules are being relaxed while the government undertakes a massive vaccination rollout for its citizens nationwide. She also stressed that the Philippines should keep pace with its neighbors and the rest of the world in slowly reopening the country's destinations. I do agree that the Philippines should keep up with its foreign counterparts and also the rest of the world. Now let's talk about the quarantine rules. Effective May 8, the Philippines has implemented the 14-day quarantine for those inbound passengers. However, for the first 10 days, you must be quarantined in an accredited hotel facility and you will be tested on the 7th day. However, if the green lane is being implemented, I believe that the quarantine rules will be relaxed. However, they will not remove the quarantine requirement. I think the Philippines should rethink its policy regarding the quarantine rules of 14 days. If they are going to open the economy again, the quarantine rules either may be removed for those fully vaccinated or be reduced. But 14 days is too long right now, so I would advise you to hold off on your travel until the quarantine rules are relaxed. I think the acceptable is 3 to 5 days. Here in the US, if you are unvaccinated, you are required, or I mean, you are actually just recommended to quarantine for 7 to 10 days. However, if you are fully vaccinated, you don't need to quarantine at all. Now, the standard rules for health protocols are still the same. You need to wear a face mask and a face shield, although the Philippines is still implementing the face shield requirement, but some officials are thinking that the face shield should be removed or should not be required at all. Number 2, you need to download the Trace mobile application for contact tracing. Number 3, you needed to register for the ECIF, and if you are a passenger of Philippine Airlines, they have a separate ECIF because you are going to a different terminal. And also for those foreign airlines, you needed to register through the PAD lab for your COVID testing. Another requirement is the pre-book 10 days of quarantine in a facility or a hotel facility accredited by the Department of Tourism. And then the swab test or the COVID test will cost you around 4,000 pesos if you are coming to Manila or Clark, and in Cebu it will be 4,100 pesos. For those overseas Filipino workers, the swab test and the quarantine hotel is free, including the transportation and the accommodation. Another requirement, letter of acceptance from the local government unit. So I would suggest to go directly to the website and inquire how can you get a letter of acceptance. But of course, all government units or local government units are different, and some may require and some may not require an acceptance letter. Sometimes the barangay will issue the acceptance letter and send it to you by email, or it will send to like a family member in the Philippines and they will just send it to you by email. So I would suggest to contact the local government unit ahead of time. Thank you guys for watching, and if you recently traveled in the Philippines, please share your travel experience. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe and hit that notification bell. I always welcome new subscribers. Thank you guys for watching. I hope everyone is staying safe and have a great day.